Welcome everybody to this session of the Brand Innovators webinar series. As Sydney mentioned, my name is Nick Cheetany. I work alongside 304 amazing colleagues at AdTheorent, and I specifically lead the sales efforts there. With us today is our friend Janet Lee from Samsung. Janet is the Vice President and Mobile Chief Marketing Officer, Head of Mobile Marketing for Samsung. So before we dive into our conversation, Janet, can you tell us a little bit about your role at Samsung?
Right. So we are based in Dallas. I head up mobile marketing, and that our R&R includes product marketing, media, creative services, PR, partnership and influencer marketing, B2B, B2C. So that's what my team and I do. We do everything, all things marketing for mobile business.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And we want to kick things off by taking a look back very recently into 2021. We were still in a pandemic year, and it culminated into the holiday shopping season. The report cards are in, and consumer spending was up by 8.5% last year. So let's talk about that a little bit as it relates to Samsung. What are some key takeaways and learnings that you implemented in your 2021 marketing strategies? And also, how did you adapt your media strategies and touch points with changes in consumer path to purchase over the past 2 years during the pandemic?
Mm-hmm. So my team and I have been launching products, driving marketing to support our business for the past 2 years. From the start of pandemic in 2020, I may get the years wrong because I've kind of lost track of time. But so what we focused on was really trying to understand the consumer sentiment. This is a whole new world, right? We've never dealt with anything like this before. So the first holiday after the onset of the pandemic in 2020 holiday, we focused a lot on how people would feel going into holiday shopping season. Will they be spending more, spending less? And we segmented the consumer universe based on based on consumer research, their attitude towards spending during holiday. So there were people, and we wanted to understand the psychology also, right? There are a lot of things people had to cancel and were not able to do because of the pandemic. So we knew that there's going to be a fair amount of compensation, emotional compensation for all the things that they missed. So we knew that there will be for sure a segment of consumers who will be spending more than they had planned. And then also there was more discretionary spending because they had to cancel trips, all the things where they were planning to spend but didn't spend. So we looked at all those things. And then year two, it was even more puzzling because we thought it was going away. And the beginning of 2021, we saw a lot of people, coming out, going out and congregating in anticipation of the pandemic kind of waning down. And then there was another wave and then another wave. So it was harder for us to predict actually in year two what people would be thinking. But we knew that just as a matter of habit, consumers getting into earlier shopping, and then obviously a lot, shift to online shopping, which was the movement even prior to the pandemic, but we knew that was going to be accelerated. So those are the things we focused on. And then one thing we did differently when talking to our consumers about holiday shopping season was that rather than just giving them just array of products that we have within our portfolio, we focused on who they're shopping for and how they feel towards the person they're gifting, right? So we first segmented consumers, the gift givers, based on their attitudes and their sentiment towards the economy and whatever's going on, and then who they're gifting and the message they want to send to their giftees. So we started segmenting that way and then marrying marketing or promoting the right product per segment. So rather than creating whole, one video, for instance, talking to our target audiences, we started in 2020 doing like vignettes. So if I'm targeting you, Nick, as the husband gifting his wife, or as a father gifting his children, so we start talking to consumers in a very personalized and very deliberate way for holiday. We did a lot of things in 2021. I don't know if we can show all this, but I would love to show our 2021, right? We're in 22, so 21 holiday video. I got some instructions on how to share on Zoom, but I may need your help. I have the videos ready, but where do I go? Go to, I'm used to WebEx. We're WebEx people at Samsung.
Hey, Jenna,
so
I can share the video for you.
Yeah, I think
can I send you, because I think we worked the videos a little bit. So let me just send you, sorry about this. Let me send you the link for the holiday videos. There are two 30-second videos. And who am I emailing to? Is it
Amanda at Brand Innovators?
Yep. Oops, sorry. Okay, just sent. So while that is going to Amanda, I can continue talking. So another thing we did in 2021, I mean, I don't want to say that we're doing completely different marketing due to the pandemic. What remains the same constant is understanding of your target audience, your consumers, and just keeping up with their changing attitude, sentiment. So, with the pandemic, that's what we focused on. I don't think we did, anything drastically different as a result of the pandemic, but just keeping up. I remember in the very beginning of the pandemic, we went through this exercise with our, with the recommendation of our agency partners, all of our creative, to see if we had scenes where a lot of people were congregating. And because we were, at that time, we were focused on 5G communications, we have a lot of outdoor scenes with a lot of people. So at that time, we weren't sure how people would take to those creatives. So we basically edited all those things out in the fear that we would come across as being, tone deaf. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we're not the only ones who went through that. So, it was a whole new world for marketers. So, we just focus on understanding the consumers at any given point, and knowing that their sentiment and attitudes will evolve as the pandemic, prolongs itself. So when Amanda is ready, we can show the video. Nick, do you want me to keep going up?
Well, let's actually see if the videos are ready to be shared. Looks like we're getting ready to launch them.
Yo. Ari, wake up.
I'm awake.
Don't sleep on this sick gift. It even come gift wrap.
Been seen with a super fresh screen, ultra large, cause you in charge. Leaving them in the with pieces you draw. Designs on an ultra large screen can't be lacking. Thanks the rinse it came with gift wrapping.
Seriously, best gift ever.
Gifts with clout speak for themselves.
That is so cool.
And there's one more, if you guys are interested in watching the other one.
Yeah, let's play the next one.
We actually made 4 videos for the general market, and then we made one with the same construct for the US Hispanic market as well.
I feel like it's missing something.
Baby, I got you the ultimate statement piece.
Oh my God, what?
And it comes gift wrap.
You did not.
Future.
Amy, you about to be tripping, cause your new phone to be flipping. Here's a T when you go hands-free. You get more sick pics off your outfits and kicks. Fashion is your passion and you the main attraction.
See, you're already blown up. Gifts with clout speak for themselves.
So cool. Very,
Yes,
very, very catchy. Awesome partnership with Future.
He was awesome. So he has a lot of I guess there's like an aura about him. He had big presence. Very, very cool. So it was a treat working with him. And as you can see, we have very specific. So the first one was the parents gifting their college daughter who's a college student. And then the second one was boyfriend gifting his girlfriend a flip phone, our Galaxy Z Flip 3. So very specific, right? Who's giving and who's receiving. Yeah.
That's that's so cool to see, and it's very, very cool to hear about the more personalized approach with the different audience segments and the different mindsets that they're in regards to the gift giving. I love watching commercials. I think I'm in the right industry if I love watching commercials. So that was such a treat for you to share. Can you talk a little bit about the measurements for success for that marketing efforts? Were you looking at conversions, clicks, overall return on advertising spend? How did that perform?
So compared to our more traditional approach to holiday campaign, when we started, with this new strategic framework, looking at the gift givers and then looking at the gift receiver. So we double segmented, right? So we know performance much better. It's more relevant, obviously, to the target audience, and so they've been performing better. We know, and the product that get highlighted, they sell quite well. And the idea was, depending on who you're giving to, depending on your budget and your outlook of the economy, you will set the price range, and then depending on who you're giving. So I think that approach has been working nicely for us going on. So we've done that for past 2 years, and performance much better. And we're trying to, at the end of the day, Nick, marketing is all about simplifying and facilitating decision-making, purchase decision-making, right? Absolutely. So when you do it for them, hey, boyfriend, this is the perfect gift for your girlfriend, or your parents, this is perfect gift for your daughter who's in, second year of college. So we try to do that with our communication, and hopefully that adds value to the consumer by, saving them time in their shopping. And we've been doing a lot of gift guides. So when it comes to holiday gift season, throughout the year, we're very mindful of our competitors. We know our competitive landscape, who we're competing with to sell to the consumers, our smartphones, our tablets, our smartwatch. But I told my team, when it comes to gift giving, you're competing with all categories. You're competing with, so for Mother's Day, you're competing with flowers.com, you're competing with Godiva, or, for Valentine's Day. So we try to think beyond the category, and we try to show up in gift guides that apply, that cover multi categories. So again, that's thinking, from the consumer's perspective, right? If we're so self-centric, then we would only be thinking about mobile category, right? But think about it from the consumer's point of view. If her budget is, $300, she has many options across multiple categories. So that's another approach, a different approach that we're taking for holiday.
Absolutely. Thank you for that background, and again for sharing that awesome content. I like to shift gears a little bit, I should say. As a representative of AdTheorent, I would be remiss not to bring up something that is on everybody's minds these days, and that is cookie deprecation.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get your perspective and talk about a little bit about what Samsung is doing, what steps, if any, you are taking to adapt your digital advertising efforts to a cookieless future, and more specifically tackling those issues in the mobile space.
So every panel, on every panel, this question comes up. So I'll give you my personal point of view. So programmatic media is very good in that it serves two purposes, right? One is targeting who you're targeting, why you're targeting, right? And especially when you have a big budget like I do, and you want to tell people that you're making smart decisions in reaching your audience with that money. That provides programmatic media, provides that rationale. Oh, we're going to target, these people who visited these relevant websites, right? And then also you can track your ad dollar efficiency. Okay, I was able to, get to, I don't know, 30 cents per complete video view. So serves two purposes. Where marketing before, if you think about traditional media, it was hard to explain, right? However, I think it can prevent from marketing folks and their partners, agency partners, media agency partners, ad tech, company partners from further evolving and refining marketing, because it is so easy to use third party, cookie to target, right? What we're forgetting is that it doesn't give you a holistic picture. I know somebody who was planning a wedding, visited some relevant websites, broke off the engagement, and was getting targeted for all wedding related stuff for a whole year. Imagine that, right? Yeah. and a bunch of people who were, I don't know, visiting some travel websites because they're going to go to Cancun, and then they cancel the trip, yet they're getting targeted for all travel related marketing, right? Yeah. So that happens because third-party cookie and just tracking people's movement from one website to the next doesn't give you a holistic picture, right? So I personally think it's a good thing that we are going to be forced to move away from that, because for many reasons. One, many companies are sitting on a wealth of first-party data, right? And they're not doing much with it, many of them. So we'll force the companies to build out their first-party data and figure out the right data management platform. And then also another thing is, and this is true of Samsung as well, you have many sources of first-party data, right? You collect first-party data through many different channels, whether it's CRM, email, customer service, your social media handles. And we were never compelled to really work together to integrate. Now this is going to force us to integrate. And then as a result, many things. One, we will value our existing consumers more, who are giving us these valuable data sets. And then two, we will be, as we're integrating the data that we collect from multiple sources, first-party data, we will, as a result, be forced to drive omnichannel measurement and integration. And in the end, it will lead to better marketing, better targeting, better customization, and overall better experience for our target consumers. So I personally think it's a good thing, and it will force us to be better marketers versus relying on, simple technology to just automatically target people. Yeah.
We tend to agree, and certainly could not have put that any better myself. Yeah, I think there, to your point, there's a wealth of more valuable data that's out there from a 1P perspective, coupled with some of the emerging technologies, allows for marketers such as yourself to be able to look at and strategize based on things like conversion data rather than any type of human-based assumption, and trying to target what we believe to be the right audience just because the segment or the third party that we bought it from is telling us that is the case. So very refreshing perspective, and I very much appreciate that. Okay, so we talked a little bit about last year. We talked a little bit about what's on everybody's mind these days. Let's spend the last few minutes that we have before we go into Q&A looking ahead a little bit. What are some strategic focus areas for Samsung this year in 2022 and beyond?
So in 2022, Um, we have new launches every year, so obviously driving successful launches would be key, and that's not just for smartphones. And everybody who's been playing this game with Samsung Mobile knows that we have 2 launches a year. So yes, we're preparing to drive successful launches. No, I need to correct myself. 2 smartphone launches, and then we have tablet, smartwatch, True Wireless, our Buds product. So we're gonna be very busy. As far as strategic focus areas go, they're pretty consistent year after year. If they change every year, I guess by definition they wouldn't be strategic focus areas. So one, this is not unique to us, but driving relevance with the younger audience, the Gen Zs and the younger millennials. That's key, and that's been a focus area for some time now. And we're just learning and then improving and augmenting our programs targeting those audiences. Women getting more, driving more brand relevance with the female audience. That's been a big challenge for us. So we're doing that. And then for our brand and our specific products, continuing to drive their unique equities is another area. So for instance, our Galaxy S series, a critical element of the Galaxy S series equity is in camera technology. So we're going to continue to hone in on that. Last year, I can't believe it's last year, we tried something very innovative, and I'll explain a little bit about that. We've been talking about really focusing on camera communication for our S launch. So every year, first quarter, we launch a new S series model, and starting with S9 in 2017, when I first joined Samsung, we really focused on camera because we knew that for that audience, that was a key, one of the key purchase drivers, right? And last year, the whole positioning was pro-grade camera, meaning that it is as good as professional DSLR product or camera. And just looking at it, thinking about it from the consumer's point of view, yes, pro-grade camera, it's very simple and it can fit into all of our creative executions, good for us, but what does that mean for the consumers, right? So we asked that question. And we said, okay, when we say pro-grade camera, what are we really trying to say? We're saying this camera is so darn good, it will take, top quality pictures as if you use a DSLR. So then I said, okay, seeing is believing, let's show it. So we created this show. It's a reality show, and we aired on Hulu platform, where we invited 8 professional photographers to compete for a prize money of $250,000, and not so shabby, right? And we went through, we worked with our wonderful partners, shout out to BBH and Westbrook, to produce the content. And we went through, just it's a very formulaic competition reality show. You go through, you give missions and they compete and then they win and they get eliminated until you end up with the final winner. And I have to tell you, we knew that would work because it's very relevant, engaging, and hopefully it was very entertaining. So we measure, and Nick, I'm sure you know this very well, attitudinal lifts, right? Ultimately, you do marketing, your communication is purported to change people's minds, influence people's thinking and attitudes, right? So we measure brand consideration, product purchase intent, and then some, lower funnel activities or actions that they're willing to take. And when we measured, just phenomenal numbers, strong double-digit numbers, over 20, between 20 and 30 point lift.
That's amazing.
Amongst those who were exposed to this content.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you, Amanda, I sent you a second link. If you open it, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I have them,
So
and they're downloaded.
Yes, exposure, not the other one, but exposure, if you can play that one. All right.
I just have a really high standard for myself.
The pressure of it was just getting to me.
I don't know if this is working.
Cameras down because time is up.
That was very short. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so and we were among top 75 shows during that premiere week. We premiered the week of April 26th, and Hulu, if you can believe it, I think if I remember correctly, they have over 80,000 unscripted IPs, contents. So, you know, coming among top 75, it's not bad at all, right? So we're very pleased, and we had designed custom study to track the efficacy of the program, and we saw amazing numbers, right? So yeah.
That's awesome, and thank you for sharing that. And you know, during our time and the conversation that we've had a slew of questions coming in. So we'd like to turn our attention to those, starting with talking about a lot of in-housing that we're seeing from brands. So what are your thoughts about where Samsung or the overall marketplace is going in terms of in-housing, marketing and media? And you know, are you looking to get more of that control and transparency as it relates to working with your agency partners?
Mm-hmm. So we have in the past 2 years, since I've taken on this role, we've in-housed some part of creative services. So we have an in-house creative services team. It's a pretty sizable team. And we still continue to work with outside creative agencies. I just gave a shout out to BBH. We will also work with Chael Dallas. Shout out to you. And we have very clear R&R division between our team and our extended teams within the agencies, right? We bring the strategy, meaning we define what success looks like. We give clear idea of what our objectives are, what we're trying to accomplish, and then we set the boundaries on budget, timeline, and that's how we work. I am a big proponent of having that function in-house, because what ends up happening when you don't have, and again, different setup works for different companies, different organizations, but for us, because of the scale that we have for our organization, we can't put everything in one creative house, and in order to keep track of everything and make sure that we also build, institutional knowledge, and we drive clarity, and we coordinate, we need to have an in-house team. So my team, our creative services team, does all the project management, manages the budget, and also we work closely with our headquarters, our Suwon office in Korea. So that just cannot be done by an outside agency, wholly, right? So I think a mix of the two has been working for us, and then just consistency in strategy. When you have the centralized, that would be us, the client, disseminating the information, strategic direction, core objectives, what success looks like, the right measurement plan. I think that's needed. When you can't put all of that in one creative house, you can't, parcel out to multiple if there's no centralized, point of contact and driver of all of that. Media, similar. Obviously, we have a very strong media agency partners. Constellation, shout out to you too. Didn't want to leave you out. But again, we have team of experts in-house, because we have so many launches and so many campaigns. We have roughly 50 campaigns a year. So again, we need in-house functionality as well. So the combination has been working very well for us. And then now we as a client, I think what we need to, and we've improved upon this, we just need to do a very good job coordinating multiple external partners, so we all work as one team and there's no variation in strategic direction and focus as we talk to different external partners, and we bring them all together too, with one team Samsung. So
wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think to your point, having that mix is good. I think over the last few years, we're seeing much more of that, where brands are taking more of a vested interest in having a seat at the table in all aspects of their marketing. I gotta tell you, Janet, you're one popular person this afternoon. The questions are rushing in here, so
okay.
Folks, I'm going to try and get to as many as we can. This is a two-part question. In a cookie-free world, will you ask more questions of your consumers or require more information at the point of sale? And how do you treat your prior consumers differently than your future consumers?
I think that's an excellent question. So one other limitation of relying heavily on third-party cookie data is that you're so much focused on the prospects versus people who are ready to purchase. So if you focus more on your existing consumers who have already proven their value to you, right, by engaging with your brand, purchasing your product, and providing data. So I think there naturally will be a shift to focus more on your existing consumers. The challenge is scale, right? When you are first working with third-party data, first-party data only, the scale, but I think brands will figure that out. So that's one. And then what was the second part of the question, or the first part of the question?
The first part is, are you going to be asking more of
Yes, correct. Yeah, yes. So what's great about third-party cookies going away and us not relying so much on that, is that we give control back to the consumers, right? They decide what they want to share, who they want to share with, and when they want to share, right? So I think brands, because it's cumbersome and there's no guarantee of how much responses you'll get, we kind of moved away from consent-based surveys and information gathering, right? So now I think we will have to go back to that as one of the means of collecting data. I think when consumers think about it and they consciously give permission for you to use their data and give you consent and participating in information gathering, I think they're more forthcoming. So when you give that control to the consumers, I think you're able to gather more meaningful data. So we do that already, and I think we'll be doing more of that. The question is, will we be able to provide compelling reasons for consumers to participate in our data gathering, information gathering, efforts, right? So that is the part we need to figure out. And then also, how do we optimize the amount of questions we ask, and the amount of time that we require, right? So we will go through many, I guess, test and learning. But yes, I think there will be more focus on that. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for that. This is a good question as well. You mentioned building more personalized experiences as the goal. How do you prioritize which segments or ideas to test on things like ad campaigns when you have so many segments and data points to work with?
So if the question is, how do we prioritize which consumer segment?
Yeah.
Okay. That varies by product, right? So we have what we call global segmentation of the mobile category, mobile industry consumers. So, and for each of our core launches, or I guess every single launch, we have target segment based on our segmentation, and it's behavioral, attitudinal. So that's how we decide. In terms of like identifying media audiences, we talked about prior engagers, people who visit our website, and people who visited relevant websites that may serve as signals for purchase or activity in our category. So we've done all of that. So that's one. the challenge is we know who we want to target. Making sure that we're actually targeting them, that's the perennial challenge for the marketers, right? And in general, just looking at the entire population, we're not different from other brands in multiple categories in that we do want to be more relevant with that younger audience, Gen Zs and younger millennials. So we do prioritize, and you know, no offense to other demographic segments, it's just, you know, the size. I remember, I don't want to date myself, but I remember when I was in beauty, all the rage was the baby boomers, right? So that changes, the focus changes. That's just an economic, you know, decision.
Gen Zs, I wonder what we're going to call the next generation.
Gen Alpha.
Got it. Then we just start from there. Okay, interesting question here. Trying to make sense of it. Are you, so I hope I do this question some justice here. Are you aligning the Samsung brand with sports content? And if so, are you looking at going beyond more traditional sporting events, looking at things like Ironman and triathlons and so on and so forth? It's a loaded question, but I also want to make sure that I do answer all the questions that are coming through here.
Yeah, so there are two ways to think about it. Sports as just programming, right? When we purchase media. So yes, that's a big part because these, you know, high profile sporting programs or sports provide for a good way for us to drive mass reach. So Super Bowl, you know, March Madness, the Olympics, yes, we're regulars and you know, regular advertiser during those programs. If you're talking about sponsorship and you know, really trying to make that connection via passion sports, you know, triathlon as a passion point, I have to say we haven't really considered. It's been so much more focused on media opportunities, but yes, we would look into that if there's, you know, compelling reason. We looked at, you know, during the pandemic, like Peloton, you know, that became a passion point, right? So we look for opportunities like that, but wherever we see a growing trend in relevance, and whether it's sports, gaming, you know, fashion, beauty, if there's, you know, growing relevance with our target audience, we're game. Yeah. I want to, before we end, I want an opportunity to show one last video. Amanda, you have it. So since we're talking a lot about Gen Zs, we had created this content specifically targeting Gen Zs, and this was made for social. So social first content that we made.
Flip, fold, snap, clack, touch, screen, sleek, black, flip, phone, who this? So long to that whack phone, now work, get your clack on, she back, missed you bunches, that's right, my phone can do crunches. Girl, I don't click, I clack, when I talk that smack, they know once I clack that phone I don't call back. It's sassy and it's bold, we clack and take control, now let your world unfold. Time to unfold your phone. That's all.
That is so cool. Oh
yeah, so we made that music video. So the objective was to drive mass awareness of our Galaxy Z Flip 3 device with the Gen Z, the younger millennials. And we didn't want it to feel like another, you know, advertisement, another TVC. So we focused on driving mass awareness and desirability through very engaging and entertaining content. And we did very well with that piece of creative.
The creatives that you shared with us today have been an absolute treat. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for all the background information, the feedback. I felt the conversation was very productive. Sydney is back on, which means the orchestra.
Timekeeper.
So I want to extend on behalf of myself and my friends at AdTheorent a very sincere thank you to you, Janet. This has been truly wonderful. And with that, I'll pass it back to our friend Sydney.
Thank you, Nick.